Hey guys, so I figured I would talk to you about relationship and marriage today. Mainly mine, and you guys can make your own decisions upon however you feel. I'm just hoping that my experience in some way will help you in your experiences. So, me and my husband have been together since 2013, um, which has been 3 years. Yeah, we could have been together 2012, but I'm not 100% sure. Because I know that we're going on like 3 years of marriage in January or March. Sorry, it's March. We met in January. And we were together for about a year. So I think we met in 2012. But so it's been a short but yet long journey for us. All marriages are different, all relationships are different, but a lot of them contain the same things. Um, Two people trying to come together as one and to build with each other and make a life and a family possibly with each other. And I know when I first started, it was, I thought I wanted all of that. And then I realized as time went on that I wasn't even ready for that yet. I had gone through so much in my past that I had started to take on these not so good qualities. And I didn't even realize it until after, we had been together. And, as a married couple, a lot of us tend to point out each other's flaws. And I know my husband sure told me a few of mine, but don't get me wrong, I've told him a few of his too. And as the years have gone on, I have kind of molded and changed. Now, right now, my relationship is a little rocky. It has been very difficult. It's really hard to be with someone that is so amazing, but they don't know how amazing they are and they don't see what you see. So when that comes, there tend to be more insecurities, which tend to make relationships very hard. And I know that before I met my husband, I was very insecure, especially with all the people that I had been with and dealt with and gone through. The people I encountered in my life. But when I got with my husband, I just felt a little more secured. And then now it's got to the point where he could do something completely wrong. And to me, it's like, well, I've made my promise with God to be with you and to love you until death do us part. And what you did was a mistake. And I won't let it hurt me. But for some people, that's easier said than done. It definitely does take a lot to get to that point, or at least it did for me. You guys know some of my trials and my tribulations. So this has definitely been a whole learning experience and process for me. You never know when God's testing you and trying to push you. And it's like you can't be angry at the world and separate yourself because for all you know, he's just molding you. And so it definitely is a lot. I know I definitely try my best. I do try my best. I'm not perfect. None of us are. But I try to be better every single day than I was the day before. In my marriage, we are having a lot of difficulties. My husband is a very insecure guy. Which, you know, sometimes you don't understand why, because when you look at them, you see this extremely, you know, strong and great independent person. But when they look at themselves, they don't see that. They, uh, like, it's hard. I know when I was younger and I looked at myself, you know, I always thought I was really fat. I was really insecure. I never thought anybody wanted me, that the only people I could get were like wicked, unattractive guys to me and jerks. And so when I met my husband, it was like, I can't even believe that this is happening. Um, but I know that I don't want to get into a lot of detail, because you should never put like your entire relationship out there. I like to be open with people. I like people to know, and I want to help people. But, you know, I would never want to degrade myself or my husband, um, so that everyone can, you know, hear the scoop per se. Um, my husband is a hardworking, great person with an insecurity, and it drives me insane. Like, it drives me crazy. I've dealt with it for most of our relationship, and I feel like it gets harder. And, you know, I'm getting better, so I don't know why it gets harder. But, you know, right now we're not 100% on good terms, and it's really hard, especially when you're with someone and you love them so much. And one of the things that we do is we look at that person, we say, well, if you loved me, why don't you do this? Or why don't you change? Why can't you be what I want you to be? You know, why don't you see that this is wrong? Why can't you be better? But God says that we're not supposed to do that. Because just because someone does something wrong, that doesn't mean that they don't love you. That just means they haven't figured out the discipline or the mentality that they need to change whatever they're trying to do. And in time, that will come. And that's really difficult for a lot of people. You know, it's difficult for us. You know, knowing what God is saying and the promise that we made for God, it can be difficult at times. You know, you're bringing two people who are so different at times together and making them work in one way. And, you know, there are people who get together who are so much alike. And sometimes that still doesn't work. But the biggest thing is, one of the biggest reasons relationships don't work is that people aren't willing to put in the really hard work it takes to make it work. You know, you guys need to keep in mind that a relationship isn't a part-time thing. It's 24/7. You know, it's like children. You can't just say, okay, I'm taking a mom day. You know, take care. Just stay home. Don't touch nothing. Like, you know, when your kids get older, you can. Um, but your children depend on you. You know, they need you every second, and so does your marriage. It needs your love and your nurture. It needs your time. It it needs everything. And the more you put into it, the the more you're gonna get out of it. And, you know, it's crazy because I can sit here and I can talk to you guys about this, and but what you guys may not know is that this helps me more than it helps you. You know, talking to you about it helps me because I know all this information. I know what God has told me. But sometimes when I'm talking to you guys, I'm hearing it out loud. I'm hearing it again, and I'm like, okay, so I'm definitely not doing this again. And it's just, there's so much that you can do. And, those of you who got married, I just want you to try a challenge. There's this challenge that I've seen before. I think I've read it in one of those like little cute story things on Facebook, and I've also read it in like the Bible in the new app, the newer updated app, where you can read stories or do like week things. Sorry, that's not descriptive. I can't remember what they're called at the moment. But you have like a verse you have to read every day for a certain amount of time, and it gives you like an objective or something to do to help you in your faith or in your marriage, or whatever the case may be. And I know one of them is about marriage, and it talks about how every day try to give one more thing to that person, try to do one more thing for them, even when you feel like you have nothing left to give to them. Just keep giving just a tiny piece more, just a little bit more. Just go out of your way just for 1 second that day. And do it for like 30 days. And, just hold back one shred of anger or disagreement